Hi, I'm Michele Kearney. I'm Vice Mayor of the City of Cincinnati. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for inviting me to make this video about different issues that are really important to the voters of the City of Cincinnati, the people that I'm really honored to serve. So let me start with the first question is a little bit about myself. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a proud Cincinnatian. I went to Cincinnati Public Schools. I went to Rockdale Academy in Avondale and then Walnut Hills High School. I grew up in Avondale and just have always loved the city. I went on to Dartmouth College. I spent some time at Talladega, which is an HBCU, the one that my dad graduated from. And then eventually I got a master's degree in education and psychology from Harvard University, eventually a law degree from Harvard University, and I was in President Barack Obama's class, which is really exciting. And now I'm back in Cincinnati. I practiced law for a while. Ended up with my husband, who wasn't my husband at the time, but starting a publishing company, and we bought some publications, including the award-winning Cincinnati Herald newspaper, which is a weekly African-American newspaper, and we still own it. We do a lot of other things, and including the annual daddy-daughter dinner dance, it's a mouthful to say, that we do with about 1,200 dads and daughters celebrating the Black family. So I have a lot of passions, which I'll talk about during this interview. But let me start with the first question, which is about our police training. So we have heard the people of Cincinnati say we need more mental health intervention and mental health crises and not police intervention. And that is so right. So we have increased the social workers in our police force, and now we have the alternative response to crisis. And so in this sense, when there's a mental health crisis, we ask that people call 988. And 988 triggers Talbert House to send a mental health crisis team to the situation, because sometimes having a police force there escalates what's already a really difficult and emotionally charged situation. Our police know when they need to intervene, when there are weapons involved, when there's violence involved, and safety is an issue. But oftentimes it's really a mental health team that's needed. We also, with the University of Cincinnati, have mental health crisis teams that respond to all of our police districts. And so we're really fortunate in Cincinnati to have this type of response, and we're encouraging more people. Please call 988 when there's a mental health crisis. We are continuing to look at this program, which started as a pilot program, and it's working. And I have to say that our community has called for this, and they are in support, as well as our police department and our city council. So this is a big improvement in our policing. So the next topic is about the Citizens Complaint Authority, which is part of the collaborative agreement. Such a good question. Let me tell you, in 2001, when we were experiencing civil unrest because in a row 15 Black men had been killed by the police, I never ever thought that Cincinnati would become a model for community police relations, and yet it has. We are a national model for how to do things right. So much has changed in the past 20 plus years, and it's because of the collaborative agreement and the work of people like Al Gerhardstein, Iris Rowley, Reverend Damon Lynch III, community workers who've been out there really making a difference in our community, and we're very grateful. So now the police are part of our community, and it's not an antagonistic relationship. They also do the Sarah model for problem solving, and we have the Citizens Complaint Authority, where citizens can go when they feel that they have not been treated fairly. You know, there was a time we had a huge backlog of cases, and Dave Davis, the former director, advocated for funding, and the city has stepped up, and over the last 2 or 3 years has fully funded the Citizens Complaint Authority. So now we can address those problems, because we have to be accountable to the people of Cincinnati. And when something doesn't go right, there needs to be a place where people can get justice. And that's what the Citizens Complaint Authority does. And I'm very proud of their work. Next two questions I really want to talk about together because we're talking about root causes of gun violence in our community. Even though violent crime is down, gun violence is a crisis. The homicides from guns have increased, and the population has gotten younger. So we have younger and younger people involved in being the victims of gun violence and also the perpetrators. A young person with a gun is a young person without hope. And so we have to not just look at the criminal justice system, but societal issues, underlying systemic issues that have allowed this crisis to occur. And what are we going to do about it? So one of these questions is about housing. There's a motto called Housing First. It is important for everyone to have a safe, stable place to live that is affordable. We have a lack of affordable housing in Cincinnati. We are missing about 28,000 units. There's so many families that are either on the streets, living in their cars, couch surfing, because their income just cannot support the rising rents and property taxes. We also have a large population that has been chronically homeless. And so this is something that is affecting all of us. Now, let me just say, by affordable housing, I mean, you are not spending more than 30% of your income on housing. And so for those in some of the lower income levels, making $45,000, $30,000, $20,000 and less, it is very difficult to find a safe, decent, affordable place to live. And so we have to work on that. I'm happy to say that we do have plans going forward, and we are making progress. The progress is never as fast as we want it to be. For example, we have the Affordable Housing Trust Fund of Funds. We have about $80 million set aside for affordable housing and an ongoing stream of income into that fund. So in 2022, we spent about $14 million with almost 480 new units of affordable housing, and that's from the trust fund that's managed by the Cincinnati Development Fund. We also spent another $5 million on grants for affordable housing for another 400 units. That's about 4 times as much in 1 year than any other council has done. But it's not enough. We need a lot more. And so we are pushing to get affordable housing. One program that I've been advocating for is by an organization called Step Up. And it's a housing first model. We're not going to wait until you've gotten mental health services or, drug rehab before we get housing for you. People need to be in stable housing first. And so what Step Up does is renovate hotels and motels. It helps to get people into a safe, affordable housing space. And then there are wraparound services involved 24/7. And that's really important because some of our population is vulnerable, and we must take care of them. We must help them, lift them up. Another thing is economic opportunity. So we're working with our labor unions to get more people in the trades so that people have a way of taking care of their families and providing for their families and having careers so that they have hope. We also have career pathways initiatives for our youth. Our youth need a lot of love and support. We need them to know that they have a bright future. They are our future. So we have to show them a good path forward, a path that's without violence, without struggling on the streets, and show them a good way of living. But we have to provide those resources for them. So it takes all of us together. No, we're not going to police our way out of gun violence, but we can win this fight. We've got to do it together, and we need everybody. Our youth are worth saving. Our families are worth saving. Our vulnerable population, they are worth saving as well. Because the motto in Cincinnati is Junta Juvent, strength and unity. That means all of us together. So join us, and thank you so much. It's been an honor to serve the people of Cincinnati, and with your support, I will continue because I am working hard for you.